Apologize to your sister, Claire, or hand over your office keys. That was how my father greeted me on a Tuesday morning, not as his daughter but as a liability. His voice was cold, his expression measured, and my sister stood behind him with that practiced look of fragile innocence she'd perfected over the years. Hi everyone, my name is Clare Hastings. I'm 28 years old and I learned too late that in my family, love came with contracts and signatures. My sister, Lena, was the company's marketing head, charming, photogenic, and catastrophically careless. Last week she'd lost a key client after posting confidential pricing data in a public campaign. I'd covered for her in the report, but when our CFO asked questions she panicked and blamed me. Father didn't even glance at the data trail before calling me in. You embarrassed this family's reputation, Claire. Fix it. Apologize to your sister and make this right. Make what right? I asked. The truth. His jaw tightened. You forget who built this company. Who pays your bills? The silence in the boardroom was suffocating. My resignation, signed, sealed, and sitting in my drawer, had been waiting for weeks. I smiled faintly. All right. Lena's smirk returned, triumphant. Father looked satisfied. Neither of them noticed the small company envelope I slipped into my purse as I walked out. That night, I sat in my apartment surrounded by the quiet hum of everything I'd built. Stacks of project binders, design mock-ups, client reports. My work. All of it mine. Lena's text arrived around midnight. Dad says you'll come around by morning. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I stared at the message before replying. You're right. I won't. Then I opened my laptop and began to write. Not an apology but my resignation letter. It detailed every project I handled, every account under my name, every pending task only I knew how to complete. By sunrise, my desk at Hastings & Company was spotless. Laptop wiped. Access cards on the table. Resignation printed, signed, dated, and scheduled for automatic delivery to the board at exactly 9 a.m. When I arrived at the office, Lena was waiting with coffee in hand and that same insufferable smirk. Changed your mind already? She teased. Something like that, I said, placing my ID card on the desk. At 9:02 the company lawyer burst through the door, pale and breathless. Claire, tell me you didn't post it. Lena's laughter died mid-breath. My father froze in the hallway. I simply smiled. You told me to make things right. The news traveled faster than I expected. Within minutes, my resignation letter, along with the attached document listing every project under my authorization, hit every executive's inbox. I hadn't written it in anger but with precision. Each paragraph outlined my responsibilities, the accounts tied solely to me, and a quiet reminder that all client NDAs were signed under my name, not the company's. As I walked past the glass conference room, chaos unfolded behind the frosted panels. Lawyer whispering furiously to my father, board members dialing phones, my sister pale for the first time in years. Claire, my father thundered across the hall. What the hell have you done? Exactly what you asked, I replied calmly. I made things right. You're blackmailing us. No. I'm informing you. Without proper transfer, those contracts are legally frozen until I reassign them. Lena stood behind him, trembling. You wouldn't ruin your own family. I met her eyes. Family implies loyalty, doesn't it? Silence fell, thick, terrified. The empire they built on my work was suddenly fragile. My father's expression cracked, fury mixing with realization. Claire, come to my office. Now. I shook my head. No, Dad. For once you'll come to mine. I walked away, past the boardroom, past the whispers, straight toward the future I was finally taking back. By noon, Hastings & Company was in quiet panic. My phone buzzed nonstop with missed calls and desperate texts from department heads finally realizing how many key operations relied on me. When I joined the company 5 years ago, I rebuilt their entire operations system from the ground up. My father never noticed the legal nuance I added. The independent consultancy clause. It gave me ownership over every digital framework I created, the backbone of their contracts, billing, analytics. In simple terms, the company didn't own its system. I did. The lawyer finally caught up to me outside the elevator. Claire, we can fix this. Retract the resignation. We'll draft a compensation package. Make it right. Make me right, I said, or make him comfortable? He faltered. Your father is under a lot of pressure. So am I. But unlike him, I earned mine. Across the lobby, Lena watched, mascara running, confidence unraveling. You're destroying everything, Claire, she whispered. I turned to her, my voice calm but sharp. No. I'm just taking back the part one built. That evening, I received an official message from the board. An urgent request for negotiation. I closed my laptop, leaned back and whispered to myself. Funny. All it took to finally be heard was silence. Tomorrow they would learn the cost of underestimating me. The next morning I walked into Hastings & Company not as an employee, but as an independent consultant with leverage. The receptionist's eyes widened. Miss Hastings, your father said. I'm here for the board, I replied, handing her the official request they'd emailed the night before. Inside the conference room the energy was brittle. My father sat at the head of the table, jaw tight. Lena looked hollow beside him. Around them the board members whispered like men standing in smoke. Claire, my father began, forcing composure. We're willing to negotiate. You'll return. We'll revise your role. No, I interrupted softly. You'll license my systems from me at market value. Annual renewal. Full autonomy. One of the directors blinked. That could cost millions. I met his eyes. Then it'll remind you what I'm worth. The lawyer tried to step in. We could offer partial. Don't, I said sharply. You advised my father to treat me like property. You don't get to moderate now. My father's voice broke through, low and cold. You're doing this to humiliate us. I smiled faintly. No, Dad. I'm doing this so you finally respect me. Silence. Papers shuffled. Someone cleared their throat. Finally, a senior board member spoke. Approve the licensing. Effective immediately. My father stared at me, the daughter he'd ordered to apologize. For the first time he had nothing left to say. By Friday the licensing contract was signed. Every clause exactly as I'd written it. Hastings & Company would now pay quarterly royalties to use the system they once dismissed as my side project. When I left that boardroom I didn't look back. But by Monday morning the ripple had already begun. Clients noticed the shift in leadership dynamics. Emails now carried my signature as the system's consultant of record. Vendors contacted me directly, bypassing company management entirely. Lena scrambled to do damage control, posting 4 smiling photos on social media about family unity and teamwork. The comments told another story. Didn't your sister design all your software? Why is she listed as an external partner now? At home, my father must have been fuming, pacing his study, realizing the daughter he treated like an accessory now controlled the foundation of his legacy. That evening a black car pulled up outside my apartment. The family lawyer stepped out, envelope in hand. Your father wants to buy the system outright. Name your price. I smiled. He can't afford it. Not with what's coming next. He frowned. What's coming? I turned toward my window overlooking the city. An audit. Independent, transparent, overdue. He froze. Claire, what did you do? I did what he should have done years ago, I said. I told the truth. The audit wasn't revenge. It was exposure. Before resigning, I'd quietly copied years of company data. Not secrets, just facts. Unfiled compliance reports. Shadow payments Lena had approved. A trail of negligence my father had signed off on without reading. When the auditors arrived, he tried to dismiss them as a routine internal review. But they weren't from our department. They were from the state. Day 1 was chaos. Day 2 was quiet. By day 3 I received a call from the lawyer. Claire, the investigators want to speak with you. I'm happy to cooperate, I said. It turned out Lena had approved campaign budgets under my login months ago. Digital forgery that traced straight back to her. My father had authorized them blindly, protecting his golden child while ignoring the cracks forming underneath her. When confronted, Lena broke down. You always wanted to destroy us. No, I said calmly. I wanted you to stop destroying me. Within days, the company was forced to restructure. The board suspended my father pending investigation. Lena was removed from her position entirely. For the first time, the empire that once silenced me had my name written across every page. Not as an heir but as the whistleblower who saved it. Ironically, that was when they finally started calling me family again. 3 months later, Hastings and Company held a private meeting to finalize the restructuring. I was invited, not as a daughter or an employee, but as an external consultant and stakeholder. When I entered the room, everyone stood. Even my father. His once commanding voice sounded smaller now, humbled by months of legal bruises and headlines. "Clare," he began, "we owe you more than an apology." Lena sat beside him, eyes red. The smirk that used to haunt me was gone, replaced with quiet regret. I nodded but said nothing. The new CO, a board member I respected, handed me a folder. "We'd like you to retain permanent rights to your system and oversee its upgrades independently. Your integrity kept this company from collapsing." I signed it without emotion. Justice doesn't need celebration, just closure. After the meeting, my father followed me to the parking lot. "Clare," he said softly, "I thought I was teaching you loyalty. Turns out you were teaching me integrity." I looked at him, calm and steady. "You taught me something too. Never to confuse silence with respect." He swallowed hard. "Do you hate me?" I smiled faintly. "No, Dad. I just finally understand you." As I drove away, the office tower faded in the rearview mirror. For the first time, it didn't feel like escape. It felt like peace. Because this time I wasn't running from my family. They were left chasing my respect.